What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 42 of Damn That's Good with Big Salinas Barbecue. I'm Randy Salinas, joined, of course, by my brother Junior Salinas. We got a good, fun episode going on for you. First, we're going to get a special shout out to our sponsors, which are Holy Smoke Spice Company, Brothers Keepers Barbecue, Prairie Fresh, Mad Cow Cutlery, and Meat Hugger. Certainly thank you to those sponsors. But without further ado, let's get this party started. Let's get the show kicked off.
Hey, Junior here. So before we get going, you're not going to give me a chance to do the sponsors?
No.
Okay. I would have known anyway, let's be real. But we got a good fun episode here today. Last week we were live testing that out. Make sure you go to Facebook and click on that. Like us on Facebook at Damn That's Good with Big Salinas Barbecue, or at Good Vibes Family, the Good Vibes podcast thing, or Big Salinas Barbecue on YouTube, and hit that notification and that bell button so you can be live anytime we go. We will try to do some more lives. Going to try to do some more panels. So if you're looking to join in on an actual panel with us and talk barbecue and talk all things barbecue, or even stuff around the pit, by all means, hit us up, let us know, and go from there. Let's get it going here with my small business shout out, and that is Big Salinas Barbecue. We haven't shouted out ourselves in a while. Go check us out at bigsalinasbarbecue.com. Order all your sauces, order your rubs, and use them for whatever you want to use them for. We'll get into why I say that later on in the episode. But check us out, bigsalinasbarbecue.com. You can also go find the map there, where all of the places that we sell them at, so you can go buy them at that place to help out other small businesses, not just us. So we can kind of kill two birds with one stone. Do you have a small business shout out?
Yeah, special shout out to Subcooling Air Services. So if you're in DFW area, give them a call if you're needing your AC fixed. Their number is 469-733-2912. Like I said, if you need any kind of AC work done around your house, business, whatever the case may be, give Ruben Guzman or Sil Diaz a call. They will come out and get your stuff fixed. And that is Subcooling Air Services, 469-733-2912.
All right. So let's also got a request here. If you're looking to join a Pigskin Pickle League, we've got one going on. Good podcast network. Hit up myself or Randy on Facebook or text or wherever. If you want to join them, we'll send you the link. Join up. We have prizes coming available. Maybe you're a business and want to throw a prize out for first place or second place, or even third place, and throw some out there to get your name out there. The more people, the merrier. We're trying to build this things up. It's a great pick'em league that it has a wide range of people that do it. And so we're trying to get a massive one. There will be prizes for the top spots, and we are looking for any kind of donations as well. So hit that up as we go from there. But let's get into this episode. Randy, I have a bone to pick with you about the brisket you cooked for me this past weekend. For those that don't know, we dedicated eating to God and the church on Sunday. Randy cooked us a couple of briskets. Some people got stuck in other places. In Memphis, had some issues come up that just mentally weren't prepared to be around people, which we understand. So we had a lot of leftovers, still eating on those leftovers, but it was pretty good brisket. The brisket that we had, it went well. It was well more than enough, which I figured it would be. We did some fajita stuff as well. We have more meat than we could, but the reviews for Randy's brisket were 2 thumbs up from everybody. So that may lead to some business coming up. They are already talking about brisket for the church, but we'll see. I'll negotiate that term for you. But what did you think of those briskets? Because I know you tried them.
I thought everything turned out pretty good. I figured there was going to be a lot of food. I figured you said 30 people. I figured not 30 people were going to show up. But when I tried a little bit of it, the day I cooked it was pretty good. And then when I ate it on Monday for lunch, it was still moist and tender because I cooked it on Saturday, so it's still pretty good. On Sunday, not Sunday, Monday. For lunch.
I had some sliced brisket today for lunch, and we're talking almost a week since you first started cooking it. Basically, almost a week since you sliced it up, and it's still tender. It's still moist. It still can be cut with the fork. It was awesome. So for the ones you get, I mean, some people there are like, oh, I do briskets, but nothing's ever come out like this. I mean, people were amazed. People were blown away. We were trying to give some leftovers and stuff. Chelsea's taking them to school. And people up there have even loved it. And, she's given the disclaimer, hey, it's 4 days old or whatever, and it's still moist. It's still tender from there. So you definitely knocked it out of the park on that one. Did you cook anything else over the weekend?
Nope. Yeah, that was the only thing I've cooked. I haven't cooked anything since. It's just those briskets.
I had to throw some fajitas because, like I said, you get some kids here and they may not like brisket, so I wanted to have something else for them. Not everybody likes barbecue. I don't see how that's possible, being that you live in Texas, but it is what it is. I got home from church, was like, okay, I got to get these fajitas on. Go to get the starters. I have no fire starters. Use the last bag of the B&B charcoal that I had. Tore a little thing on it, got some smoke going, set it on the ground, let the wind hit it, and off it went. But I got me some tumbleweeds now. Father-in-law Rob got me some tumbleweeds because I didn't think I was going to get the fire started. But we got the fire going and was able to cook those pretty quick and pretty easy. But we'll get into that. So, hey, just some ingenuity you got to use to try to get it started, man. You got to try to get that fire started in any way possible, especially when you got people coming and you go from there. So it was an interesting experience. What are you cooking? You cooking anything this weekend, next weekend? What you doing?
I'm not sure if I'm cooking anything this weekend. Next weekend I have briskets, chicken, sausage, and stuff to cook for a wedding. So I'll be doing that next week. But other than that, I don't plan on cooking. But something comes up, I'll cook. If someone presents me with something to cook, I'll cook it. But right now, it's just kind of relaxing.
When are you cooking for the wedding?
Wednesday and Thursday.
When is the wedding?
Thursday.
Okay. You're coming over Saturday for the draft?
I don't know.
That's where you're going to be cooking. I don't know what
you said. It was. You said it was potluck. Bring something. I'm bringing myself. I'm not bringing shit.
You better bring your cooking utensils, your cooking knowledge, Mr. Number 5th, 6th round, 7th pick in the draft. I don't even know where I'm picking. We'll get into that
later. We'll get that later.
We'll get that later.
Not cooking nothing. Saturday we'll see. We'll talk about the next episode on what we cooked. But just got taking it easy.
Hey, I don't blame you. Now that the temperatures are trying to cool down, but there's no heat back up. I'm not.
It's a lot of rain. We definitely need the rain.
Yeah, I got to try to sneak in a grass cut somewhere. It is starting to get tall. It's been about 3-4 weeks since I cut it, so I think it's starting to grow a little bit. So maybe that was what it needed. A lot of people here I've noticed around the neighborhood have not cut their grass, and I think they're all doing it because a lot of it's dead because we can only water every so often. So we will see.
You're basically just mowing the weeds at this point.
Basically, Yeah, I cut for the event some people around the thing, and I was like, "Oh, this is real tall. I want to cut this." And basically just took a weed eater and cut a little section. Took maybe 5 minutes as I was cooking those chicken wings that one day. Had the holy garlic, had your chicken rub on there for one, and then we threw it down with some barbecue sauce on it because Chelsea wanted some barbecue sauce. The other one we put the Cajun rub. I'm starting to like that little Cajun two-step. It gives it a little bit of a kick, not a lot of kick, but it is really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, I put it on some eggs. Put a little salt, threw it on some eggs, and it gives the eggs actually a little spice. Like I said, it's not overpowering to where you would think when you hear the word Cajun, but it really is really good. So definitely give that a try. You can buy them at Walmart, that Cajun two-step, for sure. But what else do you have going on? How's the job? Let's talk your job. How's your job?
The job was easy. Uh, I mean, basically, we're not doing much. It's just basically loading and unloading furnaces. With the material that we have to do, trying to be extra careful. Basically, it's just worst part is just telling myself to go slow. You don't want to break something that's $10,000, $20,000. But you know you, all these cars needed chips, and you have these wafers coming in. If you break one, they all got to stop. Which happens throughout there, but you just kind of just slowing it down. But yeah, it's real easy. And again, like I said in the last episode, I don't see me being there 25 years like most of the people there. I think someone said they were there for 37 years. Yeah, definitely not.
You're not seeing that.
We'll shoot for a year and then we'll see. We'll take it week by week.
There is
And
a
see how it goes.
potential. There is a potential opening up. We'll get into that off air. Potentially could open up. Let me rephrase that. But it's interesting. Like I said, you're right. Like, it's time to do that. What do you see your future? Do you see it as you're going? You want to be cooking barbecue full time? Have a spot open up? I mean, what do you see yourself doing? Obviously, working for someone is not in your cards. I can already tell you that. But what do you see yourself doing?
Yeah, definitely has been doing barbecue on it. I mean, that's what we talked about every episode. Um, but yeah, definitely doing something barbecue wise. Definitely not working for someone trying to tell me what to do. Um, stuff like that. Because you definitely when you work anywhere, you have these managers or supervisors who kind of uh, tell you straight up, it's my way or the highway. I can be a real, uh, D sometimes. I can be a jerk, whatever the case may be. And those the type of people I'm not trying to work for. Um, so, but yeah, definitely doing something barbecue wise.
Absolutely. I see you doing that. I mean, we've had a couple things come up that it never panned out. And I was telling some people about that this weekend. And I said, well, maybe it just wasn't meant to be. If it's meant to be, it'll come back around and this time we'll handle it different. And it wasn't that it was one of those we didn't even get a chance to showcase our skills just due to other factors. But all in all, okay. Like I said, things when it happens, it happens. It's gonna happen for a reason and we'll just let it go from there. But yeah, that's definitely something I know I'm trying to get for you to get where you're not having to work for somebody because nobody wants to work for somebody. You got your rubs, you got your sauces, you got your everything. I will tell you this though, interesting story. I was talking to my boss and we're doing our one-on-one and she saw the TikTok I made of the chicken wings that I cooked that one day. So she's gone back and watched them. I told her to like your page and stuff like that. She's interested in all the rubs and the sauces, how can I get them? And I was like, hey, we sell to California. We just go to on the website order, but she was interested, like she was excited that we had it. And I was like, hey, try it twice. She likes a little spice, not overpowering. So I do that hot porker told her to try to get that. So we're supposed to have another one-on-one meeting next week. So I'll push for that to see if she actually ordered any. But it's interesting, like I said, to see that people that avenue can work and people can find you. So definitely keep it up on those things, especially when you're cooking with our stuff for all the others. Throw it out there, show it, give us a little shout out on it. We'll return the favor. We'll like it. You're cooking good stuff. But that brought me to the topic that we were talking this morning. You sell your sauces, you sell your rubs. And we know a bunch of other people that have rubs, have sauces, and they sell them worldwide. We've had them on the show. We've listened to them on other podcasts, all this other stuff. In your best opinion, get settled here. Do they care what you do with the rubs?
No one cares what you do with the rubs. It's so like for me, when I make a rub or when I make a sauce, or if you were to make one, you're gonna try it as if you make it for chicken, you're gonna try it on chicken only, beef on beef, pork on pork, etc. You're gonna try it on that. You're gonna give it to people to try it that way, but then you're gonna have people trying it. Well, I'm gonna take this chicken rub and I'll put it on ribs. Or I'm gonna take it and put it on brisket. I'm gonna take and put it on pork, whatever the case may be. Is you're gonna hear these stories of people trying it. I did it on this, did it on that. I mix this, and this is what I come up with. Those reviews and those people kind of expand what your rubs or sauces can do because you're able to showcase and have other people showcase what they can do. Then just simply being one type gun type deal. Just strictly for chicken or just strictly for beef. You're able to say, well, you know what, you can also use it for this, and also use it for that. But yeah, we don't care what you do with it. You're buying it. Now, certainly, if you love it and you come back and buy more, great. If you love it and you want to share it to everybody else, that's ultimately what we all care about. Is we want to expand the business, and we want other people to come in and give it a try.
Now,
we don't care.
Now, I think you don't want to use it now. You don't care how they use it. You just don't want them to use it to kill any insects as a pesticide. But that's just going far-fetched. If it works for it, then hey, whatever. But because it goes on the topics, and I hear, and I'm not going to mention the person's name because we're not going to give him any kind of credit like that, and I don't want to have to go into that. But I've seen him on TikTok. I've seen others on TikTok that they're like, it's this way or no way. They say no rules. They say no this. They say no that. But yet they want you to do it their way or no way. And it's just one thing is use it for what you use it for. Like was it one of them that used the hot porker on a brisket or something like that?
Yeah. So Chad with Roll the Dice Barbecue used porker rub on his brisket in competition and won with it. So he uses that now as his go-to brisket rub. And kind of what we've kind of dived into, and we'll dive into more inside the pit on what layers of flavor is supposed to do. But yeah, sometimes you'll get that. They were supposed to use this rub, but they used that rub, and it turned out great.
Correct.
Definitely, yeah, you're gonna get all those stories.
But let's do that. Let's take a little quick break here. And we'll come right back at you and we'll dive into inside the pit. We got a topic that a lot of people don't like to do, don't want to talk about, but it is a necessity when you're grilling or smoking. So we'll be right back after this quick message.
Welcome to episode 101.
Season 5, baby! Yeah!
You're listening to Good Vibes with Chris, Dean, Troy, and Jorge.
The podcast network, Good Vibes.
Rubbing the DF Dub, we are recording this from Allen, Plano, and Little Elm, Texas.
That's right.
On this week's episode, we have
some sports and some football. And Chris goes on too far into the football, and then we pull it back together and we talk about the only show we really talk about is the rehearsal.
Yeah, it's the new Ted Lasso.
The rehearsal is the new Ted Lasso. And we get farther into it. Everyone's still behind except me. You'll enjoy our discussion on it, and I think you'll enjoy the show. We also have our movie of the week, Changeland, written and directed by Seth Green, that Troy chose. Stay tuned for his riveting thoughts. And then our three of a kind is movies that take place in a high school. And our quote of the day is from Gandhi.
Canceled.
Yeah, he's canceled. Retroactively. It's fun to do.
You live long enough to become a villain yourself.
Okay, are you recording now?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dean, you talk about kayaking, and I had an experience when I went whitewater rafting, and it was...
All right. Welcome back. Here, take that out. I don't know if you can see it very well.
You gotta put it in front of you. Now you look like Iron Man.
Iron Man, Cyclops.
You got it sideways.
Boy, I can't see.
Lee.
If I took off the background, it would look better. But we're gonna dive in here to inside the pit, where we like to talk about things that's going around inside our pit. Here, got it backwards now. We'll get it eventually. Little cup holders that I found on Amazon. Got it in there, pretty cool. But we're gonna, like I said, we dive into some stuff inside the, and I teased it here before the break, and it's one thing that nobody likes to do. I hate to do it. You hate to do it. You really hate to do it, especially after a cook-off, because you're cleaning 3 different barrel smokers and stuff like that. And I want to dive into some cook-off talk here before we get in this segment, but because I saw your man Blazing Star Barbecue on Barbecue USA at Memphis in May.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to explain it to Chelsea, but we'll get into that later. And so it was a simple question. It's, how do you clean your grill or smoker? And let's start with you before we get into everybody else, because we've asked it on a couple. I asked these questions again onto a couple groups and stuff. If you want me to ask it to your group, just let me know via Facebook, instant message, IM me, saying, hey, join my group, ask your questions here. And those are great groups to join. We're in a New England Pitmasters one, and we live nowhere near New England, obviously. It's all about learning. It's all about getting better and sharing your food. And everybody is always willing to help and help you. If you show, hey, how does this look? They're going to give you positive. They're going to give you feedback one way or the other. And generally, they're going to be nice about it and say, hey, how did you cook it? Maybe try this or this if you want a better result. But anyways, Randy, how do you clean Dorothy and the 3 amigos?
I don't clean them. I just let them go. No, there's...
Use the Weber kettle spray per...
There's different levels of cleaning.
The 3 little pigs.
So like when they're cleaning a smoker, like you're cleaning your Weber kettle. The initial one was probably, kind of making sure there was no metal in there, getting all that stuff out before you seasoned it or cooked on it. That's kind of your initial kind of cleaning, right? You do it once, you may not ever do it again on a grill. Then you'll have your, clean out your ashes, clean out your, the grease, food, debris, anything like that from after you get done cooking it. That I do probably the next day, just so that way it allows it to cool down. And then it helps make sure no mold will grow in there unless I'm not there. But it helps make sure there's no mold in there. You don't want mold in your grill. So that I do after each cook, so the next day. And then the next one, which was kindly rarely you'll do it right before you throw meat on your weapon, right? You'll get it hot, you get those grates hot, and then you may kind of scrape those, the grates on there to make sure it doesn't stick. That everyone kind of initially does it before each cook, whether it's, with the scraper, onion. I just kind of use just so, a scraper and just scrape off whatever excess that's on there. And then, of course, once you get diving into it, about every month or so, when it needs it, I will clean out Dorothy all the way around. So I'll make sure there's no loose debris on the door, get those grates, cleaned out, ready for the next cook. Same thing with the cooking chamber, making sure nothing is loose, so that way nothing falls on the meat. I'll do that, like I said, maybe once a month or so. It kind of depends on, how often I'm cooking. If I'm not cooking for 3 or 4 months on it, then it'll kind of just sit there. And then before I do the cook, I'll go back out there and do it. Certainly, if you want to do a deep cleaning, do a deep cleaning once or twice a year. Different kind of things you can do. For the drums, there is Sam sells like a oven fryer cleaner. Comes in a 2-pack. You can buy that, spray it, let it sit for 15 minutes, rinse it off, which basically loosens everything up and gets it ready for cooking on the next time. And I'll kind of do that, in between every 2 or 3 cooks on it, just as it's needed. Certainly, if you cook every single weekend on drums for competition wise, or you're cooking in just backyard, certainly you can do it every week. But basically, any type of cleaning, you want to make sure it's clean and ready for the next one, so that way you're able to maximize that flavor. Because if you have anything nasty on there, if you scrape your hand on the the inside of your kettle, if you're able to come out with the black end that's dirty, you need to clean it, so that way some of that stuff may fall on your steaks, burgers, stuff like that, and it may kind of leave a bitter taste in your mouth. You don't want that. So just make sure you're cleaning every so often to get that nice, good cook whenever you're cooking, whether it's long cook, short cook, hot and fast, whatever it is, hamburgers, hot dogs, don't matter. Just make sure you have a good cleaning cooking surface.
And that's it right there. And you want to clean it. Like I said, we've said it in the past. We've been to cooks and they didn't clean their grease or something, and it piles up real bad, and it starts a grease fire. And so you either have to drain it out or you have to burn it off. And it can get dangerous if you're trying to burn it off. So wouldn't recommend it, like I think I do on my Weber kettle. I will scrape it real good. Try to get, once the heat gets a little low under that 150, kind of go in there real quick, scrape it, and then give it a good bang those out. And then once it's cooled off completely, I'll go in there, of course, get the ash, remove the ash, and then I try to do it every couple cooks, either every other cook or every 2 cooks. We'll take the crates out, take them out, rub those down, and then get the sides with a little scraper or brush, a metal brush that they recommend. And you got to be careful with those. Make sure they don't break off, because Randy's right. You could have that bitter taste, or you could get sick and hurt off of those. So there's some that they recommend because they know they don't fall off and they won't break. or you can actually get the ones that have the scraper and get that out. I got a couple big grease clumps that, they want to hang out in certain spots. So you can do that just to kind of keep it clean. And like I said, it all is to try to make the grills last. They're not expensive nowadays, and they're probably only going to go up next year. So when you have one, make it last. You don't want to have to replace parts every year for sure. But like I said, I asked this question out to other ones. Some use a lot of them on the Texas Extreme. We'll throw up the X barbecue that I sent this to. They throw up, some said an onion, orange. They'll use potatoes, lemons. And that's just basically throw it on a little skewer, the forks, and rubbing it back and forth. And that'll take off that great. And you won't really get a flavor, I don't believe, from it. So you're not going to have, your food's not going to come out lemony or orange. It's going to all burn off anyways. So one said on his pit boss, he just uses a scraper only on the inside and then Gojo wipes on the outside. I will definitely use some Windex on the outside, trying to make it look shiny, make it look pretty. From there, again, like I said, one of the ones I asked to the New England Pit Masters, one said, if it's a pellet smoker, simply just throw it in the trash. So you can tell he's not a fan of the pellet smokers. Most of the ones said a vacuums it out. Probably a shop vac, not your regular household vacuum. Use a shop vac, and then he takes a brush and a scraper to it. Like I'll get that scraper down there in the forks down there at the bottom, and really kind of go down. Even get a paper towel and wipe down from there to just trying to get it as clean as I can. One said he'll take his pellet smoker apart every month or so and use a degreaser and a hose to do it. You obviously want to do it. One will kind of goes to an extreme. He power washes it. At the end of the season, he says he just power washes it out and then burns it all off so it doesn't rust or anything like that. And then one kind of says what you did. We'll scrape it, kind of get all the food drippings, but he'll use a torch too to kind of heat up the sides of it, so it makes it less scraping, so that way you're not sitting there for hours and hours on end. Wipes, Johnny Mag says super clean, works killer, so he likes to use that on the inside of it. He said he's never had an issue. Some said they asked him, would you use it because it's a spray and you're worried about it? And he says he's never had an issue. He'll spray it, wipe it down, and then he'll use a hose, little water around the side, and then wipe it down again. So just to make sure there's no leftover chemicals or anything like that for when he cooks. And then the last one threw a YouTube on there, how to clean your Weber grill. Nice, easy 4 steps, little short 4-minute video on there. So go check that out on YouTube. It's just how to clean your gas. This one was a gas grill. So you definitely want to keep those clean as well. Keep those grates, because like I said, once you have rust, then you have issues, and that can cause you more problems and cost you a lot of money from there. But I know it's not a topic everybody likes to talk about. You want to talk about the meats, you want to talk about this, and we'll dive back into the meats next episode. But it is something of very good necessity, especially with the fall coming around. People are going to be doing some turkeys. People are going to be doing all kinds of stuff. So you don't want to have a grease fire or anything like that with that and potentially cause harm to your house or others around your pet. You got any last minute cleaning tips or tricks?
No, yeah, I mean, if people worried about using like cleaning sprays, like Max was saying, like on the drums, I'll use the fryer cleaner and hose them down. Some people will say, you can do the same thing in a smoker or in a pit or in a Weber kettle and hose them down. It's totally fine. You just don't want to leave that water sitting there. So if you're using any kind of chemical, you can wipe it off, hose it down real good, get all that out of there, and then, dry it off real, real good. So that way that moisture is out of there, which will help prevent that rust. Because if you leave it sitting there, then yeah, you're going to start building that rust in there. You're going to corrode all that metal, and then it's not going to be very good result. Uh, and then, of course, whenever you're cooking on it, as soon as you go to fire it up, let it run a little bit longer, and you won't even taste anything. It's the same thing if you're using, you know, dish detergent on, a pot. Same kind of concept. You're washing it, getting everything out, letting it dry, and when you go to cook on it, you're not tasting any, dish soap or anything like that because all that's out of there. Same concept. When you're cleaning it, the cleaner is going to be out of there. You're just going to taste just delicious barbecue. But definitely, yeah. Clean every now and then whenever you need it. Clean it. No shaming on it. Definitely don't leave no grease in there or food in there because, like I said, you don't want no mold.
You definitely don't want a mold in there. You don't want any rust. And you don't want that grease fire for sure, because it'll cause you more problem. I can't even imagine you're cooking chicken wings or something and you actually have a grease fire going up. You take it off and who knows what can happen at that point. So definitely be safe on it. Take some time. Like I said, I set it up for a grill thing, and I try to do it every other one. Unless I know, hey, I'm not going to be cooking for a while, because we're going out of town or this and that. Let me go ahead and get the scraper and go ahead and spend the time. And it doesn't take long. Like I said, you're right. Use that water if you have to, but make sure you wipe it down real good. Anything that got hit with water, wipe it down, and take the 30 minutes, take the 45 minutes to do it. If that, it really doesn't take too long to be safe and go from there. So that's definitely a good thing from there. What else you got to deal? You were talking about layering and this and that. Let's get into that.
Yeah. So a lot of people on social media, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, out in public, they'll say, the common thing that we kind of heard is salt and pepper is all you need. Why are you mixing things? Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple, stupid type deals, right? Well, it's okay to layer flavors on there, because when you add, let's say you taste something and it's bland, what's one thing you're probably going to add to that's on every table, in every restaurant is going to be salt and pepper. You're going to add some salt, add some pepper to give it, some kind of flavor, so that way it's not bland. Same concept, right? You're going to use salt and pepper, and then guess what? When you start making rubs, all these different rubs all have different layers and of flavor. Paprikas, your onion powders, garlic, etc. Right, and the list goes on. All these different things are going to have already layers of flavor in it, mixed together. Different kind of combinations. Some of them are going to taste similar, but their combinations are going to be a little different. And when you mix different flavors or different rubs, sometimes you get something that's even better than what it was just by itself. And if you want to just see how it's going to turn out, take 2 or 3 different rubs, mix, put some small amounts in your hand, and you're gonna see, hey, is this gonna work? Is this gonna taste good? And sometimes, like I told people, layers of flavor is great. It can produce amazing barbecue. Uh, some of the steaks that I've cooked for y'all, when you've asked, hey, what'd you use, and I'll tell you 3 or 4 different rubs. Are those steaks good? Or are they too overpowering? They're probably really good in my opinion, right?
Oh yeah, really good.
So same kind of concept. If you're using 3 or 4 different rubs and ribs, brisket, whatever the case may be, it's just not all about competition. It's okay to do it in the backyard too, because sometimes you can create something yourself. So if you're wanting to create, a unique profile for your family, try it. If you hadn't tried it before, don't knock it. Is my kind of thinking.
Correct. And we preach all the time. This is how our tips, our opinions, and that's the one thing I love about the Inside the Pit is because I'm giving you other people's opinion, other people's way. And not one way is right, not one way is wrong.
Yep.
Barbecue truly has no rules. There's no one way. And a lot of times when you see people, oh, I'm doing this, and you'll get people on there, he's a competition cook or he's this and that. Well, guess what? A lot of competition cooks don't want to go to a competition without trying something at home. So that's what they're trying. Or a lot of competition cook, not even competition cooks, a lot of cooks that have restaurants try it at home before they go try it to the masses. Make sure their family likes it. They make sure they like it before they go and sell it to people. And that's typical in that. And that's other people that I know that I've talked to that have restaurants. I want to try it. If I don't like it, I don't like this flavor combination, I'm not selling it to people because that's my name on it.
Yep.
And that's just my thing with it. And do it how you like it. And that's the one thing I try to tell people. I tell you, you're paying for the meat. I'm not. You are. It's coming out of your pocketbook, affecting you. So you try what seasons you want. You try what rubs you want. Do like we do. And hey, I'm trying it with this season and this season. So if it comes out, man, that looks good. Okay, I'm going to go try that. I'm going to go buy that seasoning now because that person tried it. So you're helping out people as well. So don't be afraid to shout out things. As I said, as long as you enjoy it and you like it, then it's good.
Yeah,
Period.
That's the important thing. Yeah, because there's different styles. We talked about it previous episodes, right? Different styles. You got your backyard style, your catering restaurant, and then you have your competition. Right? Competition is one bite. You have to wow the judges on that one bite. You have to wake all their taste buds and lead them saying wow versus I don't know about it, right? Catering restaurant style is you're not doing it just to make money. That one day you're trying to get those customers to come back. So everything becomes presentation. Having, like brisket, you want the flat to be good from one end to the other. You want the point to be good. Your sides, everything. You want everything to be, money. And like I said, it's all about presentation. Same thing. The presentation's there with competition, but it's more about judging that one bite. Backyard style, a lot of people will just say, you just need salt, pepper, don't trim anything, season it, throw it on the smoker, which is true, but there is the same time, backyard cooking should be about whatever you want to do. That's really it is, no holds bar. If you want to, take a brisket cutting, fillet it, and you want to put a pork belly in there and you want to, have a pork belly stuffed brisket in there. If you want to do that, great, do it. If that's something you've done, I think we saw a post, someone did jalapeno stuff, brisket. If you want to try it, you can try it because anything goes in the backyard. You can do whatever you want. And it's not just about, salt and pepper. That's where you can experiment and you can try different things. You can see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you like. Definitely, like I said, that's different styles. Find what you like. But it gets real old when you hear, they're layering it. They're a competition guy. They're, competition stuff. Get that out of here. Sometimes, if they're cooking in the backyard, maybe their family loves it. Like Chelsea loved, wants always Dr. Pepper ribs, are you going to tell her, no, Chelsea, that's stupid. You're overdoing it. We're just going to do salt and pepper. That's it. No, because she wants Dr. Pepper ribs. You being a good husband, more than likely, you're going to try to make those Dr. Pepper ribs.
He said I was a good husband. No, you're right. And
Yes.
I tried the Dr. Pepper ribs. I was like, let me try to do it a different way. And so I basically brined them in Dr. Pepper overnight, and then I spritzed them with Dr. Pepper. Now I don't like does spritzing really have anything to do with the overall flavor? No, and that's a proven thing. You're not that Dr. Pepper is not going in there. It's just to help keep it moist because you're cooking with something I didn't really know how it was going to react with the heat. And those ribs came out good. Like I said, I always tough on my barbecue as you are. You're like, it's never good, but you're like, people tell you, hey, well, I ate 4 or 5 of those, dude. So calm down. What do you think about that? If I didn't like them, and that's the one thing about us is it's easy to tell. And you said it best. If I didn't like it, I'm not going to eat it. And we're not going to eat it. We're going to try that one, and then we're going to be like, okay, I'm going to set this aside. So if you have us over for barbecue and we're going back for seconds and we're going back from thirds, we like it. It's that simple. We're not hard to tell. And most barbecue people are that way. So, and try it. And I mean, there's just no wrong way to do it. So it's just like, I'm looking at a picture here and somebody went to Franklin's barbecue. We've been there. If Franklin's did salt, pepper, and the rub, which I don't know what he uses. I don't know, but let's say he uses just salt and pepper. But let's say all of a sudden he added a rub and it's 10 times better than what it is. Are people going to say, well, that's not Texas barbecue? He's competition barbecue. He's got a restaurant. He's trying something different. And like I said, I don't know what. I know Hutchins uses some type of rub on theirs. And they have a line of cars rolling down the street to 380 some days, and they're packed inside. You know, Hurtado's uses a rub, and they've got lines everywhere. Dane's, Craft Barbecue, Franklin's, Snow's uses a rub. And so are they doing it wrong? Are they competition cooks because they're using more than salt and pepper? I don't know. I know I want to do some research and figure out why people say Texas barbecue is only salt and pepper. They say that with steaks too, and you brought up steaks, only salt and pepper. That's all you need. Well, no, you put the holy garlic or you put that noble rub mixture together, and when you cook your steaks, it's amazing. Comes out great. You know, the perfect combination. Now, if you're putting a ton of one rub, a ton of one seasoning and a ton of another seasoning, then yeah, you might be overdoing it.
Yeah.
You got to know that good 50-50, or even in some cases, that 30-50, you know, that 30-70 rub. Maybe you want a little bit more of this and less of this. So that's what I go with. It's like when I did my chicken wings. I 30%, you know, like 40-40, and then just maybe 20% of the that Cajun two-step, because I didn't want to overpower it with heat. I just wanted enough spice to give me that extra spice, but not kill me at the same time. You know, so, and that's just what they, and so you figure out your measurements, figure out what you want. But like I said, don't listen to these people on TikTok. Listen to your family, listen to yourself, and do what you love. And I don't think you can go wrong. I really don't.
Yeah, and sometimes the other thing that we'll kind of read is being too sweet. Sometimes, maybe some things are too sweet, but sometimes when you can get a mixture of good sweet and spice in there, pepper, you have a good amount of pepper in there, it's going to equal everything out to where it may look like it's sweet, but it's not really sweet. We're definitely not that big red biting into a candy bar at the same time. Sweetness, that's way too sweet. Now, certainly, like you said, if you're coating, if you have like a ribs and you're using, 2 inches worth of rub on there, that's overkilling it. Sometimes, you'll see some pictures and you look at it and it may look like a lot, but if you look closely, it's just the right amount, because they're going heavier on that, the rub that they want to shine. Everything else is just kind of there to kind of help elevate that one rub. And that's why I said at the beginning, try, if you want to see how 3 or 4 rubs are going to act together, take a little pinch of this, one rub, put it in your hand, another rub, mix it together and try it. See how it's going to come out. And you may be surprised on how good some of those, run together. Because because yeah, there are a lot of them will have, salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, right? But then some things you'll, look at, they may have, some of them may have MSG, some of them may have Worcestershire powder, butter, honey, jalapeno. You'll get some things that you may not even heard of. And they may just say spices, and it may be something totally out of the normal. You know, so you gotta think not all the rubs are the same. They may look the same, but they're not.
Correct. I mean, let's look at you've seen ghost pepper rubs left and right, but then you look at the man from Blazing Star Barbecue. His I think it's a scorpion rub is ghost pepper. It's a different thing. He mixes a little sweet with the heat to kind of tone it down, but give you the same punch that you would just eating a regular pepper. I mean, it's how they come up with it, and to sit there and look at a video or a picture and automatically go, they're in this category. They're not good for backyard cooks. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Do we not, you're cook? Yes, you're at a competition. Yes, you're trying to win money. Yes, you're thinking, now, is there points to the competition cooks? Are there some backyard cooks that take it a little too far? Yes, I think that you could range into that as potentially saying yes. Do you need to 100% follow Myron Mixon's rib recipe or his brisket recipe or his or what is it, Johnny Triggs rib recipe? No, because a lot of times everybody forgets what nobody tells you about in these videos. What you don't tell nobody about in these videos is what kind of brisket do I have? That's going to also determine what flavors I need to add. If I'm using this Wagyu brisket, or I'm using a brisket that's more expensive, that which Myron Mixon does, because we've seen it on there, he uses a $300 or $400 brisket. If he doesn't win grand champion, he loses money on it. He could take reserve grand champion, he will lose money just based on his brisket almost alone. So he uses a different thing. So he knows what he has to do to flavor it. So you're looking at somebody, oh, they're adding this to ribs. It's just St. Louis style. Do you know that for a fact? Did he show you the packaging? What do you know? So, like I said, do what you love and, share it with us. Say, hey, I tried this and this, because there's some ones out there that I want to try and I want to give it a shot. So by all means, have that openness to willing to try new things.
Yep.
And ask your questions. Well, what do you use? What kind of brisket do you use? I've seen that post on a couple of forums. We asked, oh, that looks awesome. You use that? What kind of brisket was it? And people say, oh, it was the Kroger Choice brisket. If you ask, 9 times out of 10, everybody's going to tell you what brisket they use. One was awesome, and it was on, I think, the New England Pitmasters one, and he said, I use a Wagyu brisket. Because the guy says, I've tried your recipe. I can't get that same look. I can't get that same. Well, he's using a different type of brisket altogether. So that's why, but it's interesting. Like I said, we've gone to go back and forth with some of these people on things. It amazes me.
Yeah. If you take a competition class or whatever, if they give you a recipe, sometimes they'll tell you this is what the meat I use. Like when I took Robert Smith's class, he told you this is the ribs I use, or these are the ribs that will work with this recipe. This is the briskets I would recommend with this recipe, and only this brisket. So if you're not using certain types of brisket with that recipe, you're not going to get the same result. It's going to seem kind of off. You're going to have to compensate for the marbling. Like if they're using recipe wise, they're using a Wagyu, and you just go pick up a prime brisket, you're going to have to figure out a way to compensate for that extra marbling, that richness that you're losing from that Wagyu. So definitely, yeah, you do have to figure out, but it's all about figuring out what works for you. Just don't run someone's recipe. Like if we're doing a competition, you want to figure out what you like and what works for you. And then keep with that recipe.
And chances are, I mean, what do you think? Chances are when they came up with that recipe, they probably tried it on just a regular prime or a regular choice brisket because they tried it at the house. So, and then they're like, it's going to taste even better vegan Wagyu. And so you try it in a cook off and then they don't get the successful. You have to still compensate for this and that. So, it's like I said, it's interesting. And I got called out on one of the things that I was TikTok and I was messaging him on, and I was telling him that this was my statement that rib companies don't care. Rub companies don't care. Barbecue sauces don't care. All they care about at the bottom line is how you use it. Look at, and I bring him up again. You can bring it up, Uncle Steve, Blazing Star Barbecue, yourself. You've had people say, I use your stuff on all varieties of things.
Yep.
No, because it's a rib rub, it's a pork rub. You should just use it on pork. No, they don't care. At the end of the day, you're like, oh, that's awesome. Congrats. Awesome. Good job. I'm glad your family likes it. Thank you for your money. Let's be real. At the bottom line, everybody's running a company, everybody's running a business. They have a bottom line. They want to hit that bottom line and they want to make money. So for somebody to sit there and say, like me, I was called out, well, you're a competition cook. Sounds like a comp cook. Dude, I've never competed in a competition ever. Never. I go to competitions with Randy all the time. Randy's the pit master. He's the one manning the pit. Randy will look at the thing and he'll tell me, hey, go check that. What's that temperature on? Or, hey, can you go turn that? Hey, can you open that grill? You know, hey, Randy, this thing's it's running at 250. Okay, open that more or close it so we can close down that smoke, or we need to do, he tells me what to kind of do and I go do it. Hey, initially we had Dorothy out there. Hey, I was manning the fire, keeping the fire going from there. But my job, like I've seen on Barbecue USA, like on some other jobs, is what a lot of people have. I keep a track of the time. Hey, it's 11:30. When's the first turn in? When's the beans? When's the chicken? When's the ribs? Okay, let's turn it in right on time to a little late. If we have a little window of 5 minutes, and that's when we are 10 minutes. So let's say turn it at 12. We want to turn it in right around 12:05 if we have that extra time. Some competitions we don't have that extra time. You have the 10 minutes before and it stops right there. So we want to get it in, make sure we make our turn-ins where I don't have to sprint to do it because my fat ass ain't gonna do it. Pull a hamstring for sure. But
you're gonna fall down again.
Fall down in the mud, hold it up. Oh, go take it. To the turn in and when we were at Ennis, that was a great competition. I'm excited. We need to do another one. It's like I said, hopefully it cools down because it's still hot. My hat's off goes to these people that are still in competitions, and like Charlie and Danny and them said they wanted to go to one and see what it's about, just to go have fun, drink and stuff. And I was like, more than welcome, but it's hot right now. And a lot of them aren't going on because it's hot, and you have to look after your safety and the safety of your cooks, especially when you're standing over a hot grill or a hot smoker and stuff. But I'm going to tell you this. If you haven't watched the last episode of Barbecue USA, go watch it. Because Blues Hog, and you've heard of them, had a mega drum. 4 drums in one, and cooked a whole hog in 9 hours as opposed to 18 on a smoker, and won best hog competition in Memphis in May. Chelsea asked, is that something y'all want to do? I said, of course, but it's invite only. it's just not something you can pay your money to go. And I said, plus, it does cost money. And she asked about the teams. And I said, a lot of these people have their own competition teams or their own, and that's when we happen to just see Blazing Star. I said, that guy runs Blazing Star Barbecue and he runs a rub, but he's there to help out the shed. It was a shed thing. Yep. So he's out there to help out his buddies and to learn and to get that thing. Even people that have done it with chicken fried barbecue, people have come out to help him. And I told them what happens in a lot of these cooks, and I'm not 100%, but what I've heard is if you, Randy, were taking brisket every time, boom, 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 and chicken fried's like, hey, I just can't beat this guy in brisket. He's beat me in all these tournaments. I need him to come cook brisket. So they kind of join forces and fly under his flag and Randy would go to the American Royal or Memphis and May or whatever and do brisket. That would be his job and help out with the whole hog or whatever. That's why these teams were so big and so massive from there. But it was interesting. Good show. Go check it out because he breaks down the drum. It's basically 4 of your drums, add another one combined with an electronic door opener. It was pretty awesome. It looked like a big old cooler, Yeti cooler with the handles. It was pretty cool for sure. But let's quick break and then we'll dive into Around the Pit, our last segment where we talk about everything around the pit. We'll do that here in 1 second. And as the hat says, definitely go out and support your local pitmasters during that break.
Back, man. Cool beans. Give me some cool story, bro. Moving right along.
All right, cool story, bro. So we got nibble. Lunchtime. Did you say something? And Avril, is that you? So we're gonna go 4, because 6 is just stupid, and we're changing to 4 because we're all about new. So
That's right, new, condensed, the best. Cut out the fat. Let's go.
Yeah, and it's yeah. So Bustos, go first.
Ooh, I mean, I'm gonna go with num.
Well, that's not what it was.
No, nibble.
There you go.
So there were off the coast of New York's Long Island, there were like 8 attacks in 1 week from shark attacks from swimmers and people just wading in the ocean, getting their toes nibbled on.
Oh, like nibbled, but not like bitten. Like
some of them were bitten, but a lot of it was nibbled.
That dude, I've seen these things.
So
Welcome back. It's our last segment, Around the Pit, with things we talk about around the pit. And it's sometimes sports, sometimes politics, sometimes the good Lord, but it's usually telling somebody they need Jesus and not in any shape or form of giving Bible verses or anything. But definitely hats off. And prayers go out to all those parents that had to send their kids away on college. Leslie had to do it again for the 3rd time. Danny Vanessa had to do it, sending Xavier out to Ranger College. Mason going to OSU. How that house is going to get along when it comes down to Bedlam week will be interesting. But
that house ain't going to be divided. It's going to be all Oklahoma State, and then you'll have
Victoria with
Oklahoma. All I know is don't be surprised if the Longhorns surprise me. Now, it's going to be a lot tougher since one of their receivers decided he wanted to go commit a crime like an idiot. And then you had not 1, but 2 players go down in spring training. We already hurting, but I'm a Longhorn fan, ride or die. And I'm still thinking we're going to shock some people. Oklahoma going to fall off. That's another topic to get into. They're going through some controversy as well. Firing Gundy.
He quit, didn't he? The one that said some racial slur or something up there. So,
yeah, supposedly repeatedly. But Adrian Peterson and who was it? It was like 3 or 4 guys that were out of that running back room. That said he's not a guy that is that way. Just kind of showing support to him. He's kind of come back, talking, kind of saying a different side of the story on from what the new head coach has said. But it's one of those things, until one of those players that was in the locker room comes out and says what happened, it's just kind of whose side you want to believe.
Them guys are on a gag order of gag orders. They're saying we're gonna cut you off the team if you say anything, or we're gonna take away your NIL deal. from there. Speaking of NIL deals, I still love the running back from Texas. Got one with what is it, Lamborghini up there and all. Boy, I tell you, forget this 30 grand every player gets from 25, 30 grand that they're getting at Texas Tech. Whatever. I understand, and it's cool that the booster clubs and the NIL deals can do that to try to help recruit, but you need a lot of help, and I love it. These guys, especially these big time stars that bring in the tickets and sell the jerseys, should get a cut. I still believe they should get their cut once they graduate.
Yep.
If they leave early for the NFL and sign an NFL contract, you voided your contract. That means that your money will be split up with the rest of that graduating class. So you got those players that never really saw the field but graduated from Texas, use that thing to get their education. And that's the big thing. If you're gifted enough to get a scholarship, use it, get your education for free. Don't be in debt if you can avoid it, for sure. But it should be interesting. Like I said, I can't wait. College football, the 27th, the Seminoles kickoff.
They're going to lose.
Playing, Florida high school out there. We may be in for a challenge. Who knows? I'm gonna have it on. Come watch. We got our draft, our fantasy draft that week. But I'm like I said, I'm gonna have it on, and I think it comes on like at 4, and then we'll have some college football on before that and afterward because I'm excited. It's football season. The calendar has officially turned. I saw a stat today that said that the preseason game between the Seattle and Pittsburgh got more views than the Stanley Cup Finals game and game 3 of the 2020 NBA Finals.
Is that you playing the Hall of Fame game?
Yeah, a meaningless Hall of Fame game where no starters played, no nothing played. But it's because that's how the love of football is, and people, especially in this state, love football. So it should be interesting to see.
Here's my opinion on preseason. If you're a football fan of a team that hadn't won anything, and your team beat someone, shut up. It's preseason. Ain't nobody care. And those Bronco fans out there saying, "Oh, we own the Cowboys," shut up. We don't care. Ain't none of the players care. They getting paid minimum. I think one of the Gronkowski said it was like $500. They get paid like $500 or something preseason wise.
$500 a game, and there's no reserve ticket. So anybody that goes into a game has to buy a ticket. So even the season ticket holders that have paid for the whole season do not get preseason game tickets. Yeah. Is the way it works. So it's just all money it's just all profit for the owners. It is what it is. People, I mean, let me tell you a stat. One of the years, I'm not for sure on the year that the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, they did not win a single preseason game and looked like garbage, trash during the preseason, to where people were writing them off. And then they only lost like 3-4 games all season.
They always play like trash in preseason. I don't think I've ever remember them playing real good in preseason. And if they ever did play good in preseason, they had a really bad
They had a really bad year. I think they did 1 year under Garrett. And then they were trash after that. They were just complete and utter trash. And it is what it is. Like I said, I don't care one way or the other. It's preseason. I watched a little bit of it, very little bit of it.
The only thing I cared about was the offensive coordinator. He missed the perfect opportunity to open that playbook just to try new things, try something different than just running the ball. Every play that I saw was run, pass. Same playbook that we saw previous years. That's the only thing that I was disappointed in, from the first quarter that I watched, was just predictable. You're just going to run the ball, punt, run the ball to your punt. Defense played pretty good preseason, from what I saw, but, of course they lost 17-0, I believe, whatever it was. Like I said, no, they don't care preseason wise, but disappointed in Kellen Moore, so-called boy wonder, baby, genius, Nick Sean, Nick Bay, whatever you want to call him.
Left guard.
Missing opportunity to open up that playbook.
Left guard looked like the left guard they got rid of last year. There's a reason why he had the most holding penalties in college, and there's a reason probably he'll have the most holding penalties his rookie years, because that's all he does is hold. And it's funny, Sunday I was talking to about it, and Charlie Bustos, our producer's loving father, said, oh, he cheers for this and this and this. And I said, now I see where Chris gets it of having 85 college teams, 25 pro teams. He gets it from his dad. I see where he gets it from. They both have that. Danny agreed. Everybody, Vanessa was laughing. Linda was laughing. Everyone's like, because they're like, yep, that's where Chris gets it from. They have all these teams. I'm just gonna start cheering for every team. Go Rams, go Cardinals, go everybody.
You can be like the Buccaneer fans,
except for the Eagles,
go Buccaneers,
the Giants, and the Commanders.
Yeah.
Forget them. The only teams I don't want to win. Any other team I'm cool with. You know what? Hey, go Chiefs, because Mahomes is from Texas, so go Chiefs. It's just like that. Like people cheer for somebody because they're from the state, or from this, or from that. Come on, man. Stick in one team and be done with it. It's like you love Longhorns. You love the Longhorns. I love the Seminoles, but just because they're from my college that I like doesn't mean I have to cheer for that team in the pros.
Nope. I cheer for them in the pros when individually wise. Like when
I was happy.
Like if someone's in the Super, if they're playing in the Super Bowl, yeah, definitely I'm gonna cheer for them. I'm not gonna be all. I'm gonna go and buy this guy's jersey and wear it all every Sunday and say, well, I'm a Chiefs fan or I'm a Buccaneer fan because
because of this and that.
Because
I was happy. I was happy Ramsey won a Super Bowl. He's from Florida State, but I think he's overrated as a shutdown corner because had it not been for Donald Sack, he would have got burnt bad for the second time and it would have cost him a Super Bowl. So that's my thing, but I'm not going to hold back, it's still Cowboys, ride or die, and I'll cheer for the Longhorns. I'll cheer for Florida State there, and go from there. It's like, I like Jimbo Fisher as a head coach. I really, truly do. But I don't have to, it doesn't mean I have to cheer for A&M, does it?
Shut up. You don't like no Jimbo Fisher. Shut up.
He won us a national championship. When's the last time y'all won a national championship?
First of all,
were you even alive whenever?
First of all, let me say this. As a Longhorn fan, he did not, I repeat, did not recruit that class that won the national championship.
He didn't. That was Bobby Bowden.
Thank you.
He didn't.
Just like he's doing right now, he's trying to pay players to play. You can pay him all you want, but guess what? Spoiler alert, newsflash. When Texas comes up in there, your daddy is back.
Alabama does it every year, and they win almost every year.
But that's because Nick Saban knows how to coach.
You can't tell me, and he wants to say that he don't have to do. Bullshit.
He don't have
They
to.
paid people before they could get away with paying people. What he hates now is everybody can do it legally, and now these boosters can do it legally and now out recruit him based on giving this kid more money. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, number 2 overall guy that went to Jackson State. You can't tell me he said, I went to go for prime time. Who has yet to have an NFL player go in the NFL. He says he's got some coming up, but he don't have any yet. You can't tell me they didn't throw some stuff at him, one under the table and one been black and white for him to go to choose Florida State, Alabama, to choose Jackson State over those two schools. You can't tell me that. There's nothing you can do that ever convince me to tell me that. One thing I did say this weekend, and you'll be proud of me because there were some Texas Tech fans in here. I laughed. I said, that Texas Tech kicker sure looked good against Iowa, and all y'all wanted us to get him. All the Tech fans wanted us to sign him. So we did. The Cowboys signed him. And then the man was leaving the extra point short by 5 yards. He was kicking it 28 yards and he needed 33. Not once, multiple times from what I hear, multiple times from people that were at practices, he was leaving those kicks short, big time short. And that's why he's cut. Now, I ask you this because I read it today. Cameron Dicker was cut from the Rams. Do you bring him in or do you say, Brett Maher, we're going to ride?
You got to bring him in. I said it before. When he went undrafted, I was hoping the Cowboys would get him. I'm still hoping they go out and at least bring him in. Let's see.
Somebody said it to me that he wasn't in Rams camp as a kicker. He was in Rams camp as a punter. Because he could punt.
And that's the thing with him. He kicked 4 years. In the last 2 years, he was a punter. He did both. So if you bring him on and, God forbid, something happens to your punter and he has to miss some part of the game, who's going to make those punts? If you have him there kicking, you now there have him to be able to fill that. And sometimes we've seen Cowboys where they have the kicker go out there and punt it and it goes like 20, 25 yards. Now definitely he's not going to be like the Bills kicker punter and kick it 82 yards.
You ain't lying there.
But he's going to kick it, a good distance.
What was it, Nat? 67 yards?
Yeah. Because went in the end zone.
The end zone.
And that's just stupid. You out kicking the coverage, man. You got to at least get the coverage sometime. Some change.
But that's the problem. Had he been able to field it, he would have outkicked that cover. Chances are that guy was taking it back the other way to the house because the field was going to be open. Those offensive linemen that are blocking, they're not trying to run 60 yards downfield and then try to go break a block to tackle somebody. They're not trying to do it. So I mentioned this, and this is my opinion, is why not bring in somebody that can punt and kick? Because what does that do for you? It gives you an extra roster spot.
So maybe you just use a punter. You have him as a punter and a kicker. You have someone there that can do both, just in case. You bring on another receiver. Bring on another corner. Bring on another lineman. Definitely does help you if you need to bring someone else in. For any team, if there is any kind of depth issue that you need, someone out there that you want to kind of bring in for a couple games, we have that capability to bring them in. Having that punter, that kicker that can do punts and kicks, but same end, if he gets hurt, who you're gonna have kicking.
Correct. Now you're in a trouble with that. But here's the thing, though: if he tweaks his hamstring, let's say practice, or he tweaks it in the game, you have an extra roster spot, somebody that, hey, you're just coming in for this or that. So you don't have to take, it's 53-man roster, and I think 44 go to games or something like that, or maybe it's expanded a little bit with this thing. You don't have to take everybody. You can have that one open roster spot that you would have for a punter, you would have for an extra kicker, and go about it. There was a game where a wide receiver did the extra point because the kicker actually got hurt and he made the kick.
Yeah, Chad Ochocinco made one.
So
Jeff Heath went out there and made a kick one game. Stuff happens, and that's where they do kind of experiment in practice to see if they can kick an extra point, which is why you see the Green Bay Packers going for 2 a lot of the time. Because sometimes they don't trust their own kicker.
Correct.
But if you don't sign Dicker, let's see, you roll with Brett Maher. To all you Greg Zerline Cowboy fans, haters out there saying, cut this guy, cut that guy, cut him. He wasn't very good. You're going to be wishing you had him back if you go on the season with Brett Maher as your kicker.
Brett barely Maher.
Mm-hmm. He's good. If you give him 50 plus, he automatic pretty much. But anything inside that, 50-50 shot. He's gonna miss it. With Zerline, I mean, you knew the same thing, but you knew was a little more accurate. Some people I heard people talking about bring Dan Bailey back. He was good when the Cowboys, but he was good until he hurt his back, and after that, he fell off.
Yeah.
Even in Minnesota, he wasn't the same. I mean, unless you can make a trade to go out there and get Justin Tucker from the Ravens, you got to bring in somebody.
You'd have to give up a first-round pick to get him. That's what's crazy. He would be the one kicker that I would think right now, if you were going to trade for him, you'd have to offer a 1 and maybe a 3 or a 4.
And I would do it.
For them
if I was the general manager, I would do it. How many draft picks? I would do it. Because like, how many times the Cowboys come down to game-winning field goal situations and we lose because we missed it?
I don't know. You probably could get, like I said, you might be able to get a 1 and a 2 or something, or 3 or 4 picks for him or something like that, and it might be worth it, to be honest with you. But it's interesting. Like I said, it's just one of those things with the kicker situation. Is like, how can we get better? I say bring him in. Let's do the competition. And let's go for it. And you know what you have in Brent Maher already, so let's give him a chance and let's go from there. That's just me. But that's all I got. What you got left?
Yeah, that's all I got. And of course, as he teased at the very beginning of the episode, join the Pigskin Pick'em. We'll have the links down below at the end. So if you're looking to listen to it on Apple Podcasts, whatever podcast, wherever you get your podcast, we'll have it down in the description below. If you're going to watch it on YouTube, you'll have it in the description below. Chris will paste that as well. But if you want to go over to ESPN and try to find it, it is Good Podcast Network Pigskin Pick'em. That is GUD Podcast Network Pigskin Pick'em. You don't want to write all that down. Said it'll be down in the description. You can click it, join it. Let's get a lot of people in there. I know Chris was talking about doing some movie tickets, for winners. We may throw some other stuff in there. We're not going to say what it is until we get down to the end. Well, I'll know I'm going to win, just like I'm going to win his fantasy league again, and just like I'm winning Chris's again, calling it already. Back-to-back champs in both of them. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I am that good.
You know what?
I get lucky is what it is. I get lucky.
Very lucky, but for sure. And if you want to donate to that pickup saying, hey, you know what? I don't have the time. I'm going to forget, or I did it before. That's my biggest thing is I plan on signing up. It's to make my picks on time. Remember, there's a game on Thursday, and then you got to make your picks early, and then you can go. What I try to do is make them all on Wednesday is what I try to do. And then that's what I ride with, unless I know, hey, so-and-so is not playing, and I get the news, and I'll go right before the game or close before the game and switch the pick. But maybe you're a company after small business that you want to offer one of your prizes, something for you that help bring you some business. And you want to offer a prize for a certain place. Hey, maybe it's first place. Maybe we just have a big old basket of stuff that first place wins. Whatever it is, let us know too. And we're more than happy to arrange to us to go pick that up, or online thing, whatever you're going to do, and add to this prize pool. And of course, like I said, sign yourself up, because you never know. You never know what will happen. Get your coworkers, get your other family members involved, and make it fun from there. So that's what I got. Let's let the man that started the show in the show. Again, my small business shout out was, of course, the one and only Big Salinas Barbecue. Go check out our rubs. Go check out our barbecue sauces. You more than likely, I can't promise you on every one, but you may get a surprise from Randy when he throws in stuff when you order online. Or if you want to find out where the nearest place is to you, go online and click on our store locations, and you will find out where we're located in the stores, and you can go buy it directly from the store, which is actually our preferred method because it not only helps us out, it helps that small business in itself. And that's what we love doing. So it's kind of a win-win situation for us and that small business. So go check it out from there. And of course, if you know of a business, hey, my local business around me, they need some help. They need some sauces. They need your rubs in there. Let us know. Let us do the legwork for you. All we need is the introduction. All we need is to know who to contact, and we'll take it from there. But of course, whatever you're doing, it's still hot outside. It's still Texas. Stay hydrated while you wait for that meat to cook. I can't take his whole line, but do what you do. Cook the way you love it. Cook it for your family and no one else. And remember that because it's coming out of your pocket. We love you, and we'll see you down the road.
And then, of course, my small business shout out was the DFW area. If you need anything to do with your AC unit goes out, maybe you need some maintenance, whatever the case may be, is call Sub Cooling Air Services at 469-733-2912. That's Sub Cooling Air Services at 469-733-2912. And Mr. Ruben Guzman or Sil Diaz will take care of you. Just let them know Brandy and Gina with Big Salinas Barbecue sent you, and you heard about it from Texas Extreme Barbecue. If you hadn't joined that group or any other barbecue groups on Facebook, whether it be North Texas Barbecue Addicts, New England Pet Masters, Texas Extreme, Texas Barbecue Chapter, whatever group it is, join them. Find the ones you like. Give us a follow, Big Salinas Barbecue, on all our social media sites. That is Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all those kinds of things to stay up to date on what we got going on, where we're going to be at, what cook-offs we may be coming up to, all that kind of stuff. Order our rubs and sauces, like he said, because you never know, you just may get hooked. And big taste, big flavor, Big Salinas. Of course, see you down the road.
The original 5 levels are big, healthy, husky, fluffy, and damn! People ask, what could be bigger than damn?